So I want to add one more link here. So my location, something like that. Before I'll explain this part, so Ajax method is going to take one JavaScript object as a input parameter. That object primarily contains a key called URL, data, success. URL type and success. Data is optional if you are using the post variable or the way you communicate the HTTP through post method. Post is a secured one, like a form submitting. Data is not visible through the URL. But at present, Google Web Service, Map Web Service demand only the get one. So even though if you put post also, it will work, because get, we don't need to send any data as a separate entity or as an object. The data is packed in the URL itself, followed by the question mark. So this particular data, latitude, longitude, is sent in the URL itself. So it is actually get here. So it's asynchronous block. When you make a communication, it has one object called success that receive a callback from a function as soon as the data is retrieved from the remote URL. That is actually in the form of JavaScript object. So how I'm going to display that object or in application, I'll explain in the previous exercise as an addition. So first I need to make sure uh, the the panel which currently displays two menu items is going to display one more item added. So this example, this one, students. So it has a panel in the left hand side. I'm going to add one more, saying that my location. Now we have a link. So clicking this is going to display another page. So there we are going to display the current user possible location in the reverse geocoded format. Before, I'll add a new page. My location. Since it is a JQueryMobile page, I just need a DOM of which is starting with the data role specified page is enough. Data role being header. This is to go back to the previous page in the header. This way we are going to display the user's possible location in a unordered list. But before, I'll complete the footer block also. Okay, so page is ready. I'm going to keep a unordered list. The possible location we are going to say that having a key called formatted address. So data addresses. Multiple locations are possible. So we just made the page ready. Of course, we need ID. I want to do it through JavaScript because I need to click the button and have the location ready so that I can display in the second page. So I would prefer, instead of directly giving the URL, I can give the URL directly here. It will still work, but I want to do it through JavaScript because I need to know when the page is displayed, and then the location could be like, of course we can make this also working, but anyway, we verify one more time. So we are going into that page. We are going to display the user location. Just logged out, sorry. Okay, anyway, so this ID called my location screen is loaded so that I can start finding the user possible location. So I need to go to JavaScript. So this is where I check page container before change. So this gives a guarantee that particular page is loaded along with the DOMs. So I'm going to add one more condition at the end. This is where I'm going to get my current location. I mean, this is where I need to start finding the user current location. I already put the code somewhere here. I'm going to remove the code and move it to the new block where I put. Yeah. So I'm going to copy that block here. So I want to verify whether it is working. Console open. Now console give me an output after clicking my location. Getting a little delayed. Never mind, it always takes time. So we are having this particular option with a little delay in place. So to avoid the delay, I want to show something to the user stating that loading or something is happening. For that only, I want to have a JavaScript to handle the job instead of directly calling the URL, because sometimes user will see a blank screen, he will be assuming uh, the particular page is not responsive or does not display any data. What's a light suddenly? Well, emergency light. Today, total situation is quite weird. I don't know. Shouldn't have come today. Seems to be. Okay. Uh, let's have that part slightly modified. I'll write one more JavaScript function to handle the my page transition. Okay, instead of wasting this function, I have a small easy fix, because for that we need a DOM. I'm I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to give an ID to this. Something. So here, until the navigator returns with the data, what you can do, you can put some sort of loading. When the data is ready, I'll just say user location. So it will just, for a few seconds, it will be showing loading. When the data is arrived, and it will change it to user location. So user will at least know something is happening. So let me run the code for testing. Sometimes it goes back to this one. When I click on my location, we see the loading appears a small span of time as soon as the user location is retrieved, and again it goes back. So it gives an idea that user is waiting for to get the location. So now we need to move the Ajax part here. If you want, you can write as a separate function, not to get confused. So I'm going to write function get my location. Get where am I or something like that. I just want to have a unique name instead of using get my location. Sometime maybe a default function. So this is going to take what do you call? We have a position object. We get the position object sent as an argument. In turn, it is going to give me a kind of result. Before that, I'll write the Ajax block. It is going to take an object as an input. I'm just giving a space, need a URL, comma, and type. Get is enough, and success. It's going to have a callback function. Call response. For this example, only 3 is enough because I'm not going to use post. If I'm using post, I need to have one more attribute. Object type called data that will again contain another object as input values. Okay, so which URL I need to access? This one. In that, the last 2, it is based on my current location. So I already have position, coordinates, latitude. Correct me if I'm wrong, just spelling. Position, coordinates, chords, long. Oh, it is correct. So when I send the latitude and longitude, I'm going to get back a result. Before doing anything, we have to make sure everything works perfect. I already have my Google plugin installed. In fact, Google plugin is pretty helpful. That's the reason. Uh, if you notice the browser with the Chrome plugin, sorry, Chrome plugin, it's not Google plugin. If you have it installed, first time all you need to run it. It works. If you make changes in your code, say all you need to just save it, it automatically will get refreshed typically. But the refresh part won't be working in this case because we have to go back to a previous page and to make it work. So for that purpose, this particular Chrome plugin may not be much helpful. Maybe you are developing something non JQueryMobile will be very helpful. That's the reason sometimes this part did not work for me. Anyway, I'll just move to normal plugin. Now I need to verify whether it is working or not. Logging in, going to my location, it is showing loading. I think I got the object now. Just give me a result something RR Nagar Chulai Meda, I don't know, but something it is at least Chennai. So it gets a location for me. That location I want to print as a list view, whatever possible location. We can even say users possible. Okay, we'll give a doubt or maybe the benefit of doubt, so it's showing that multiple values. Okay. This time I want to use a return statement. Um, because the return data type, whenever a function executes a line with a return and some other argument, the program ends there itself. I mean, that particular block of function stops there itself. For example, when Ajax scores successful, when it retrieves the response, it will return that particular response, the code finish here itself. It won't reach to this particular return statement. When sometime your internet is not available, something goes wrong, where this particular Ajax part fails, that time this return will be working, will return an empty block, empty object. So I'm assuming this will work perfectly, but in some cases it may fail. That's the reason I put another return statement outside. So this is what I'm going to get, var location object. Return, as far as in JavaScripting, it is optional. When you have a return, the function will execute, give the result and return a result, and that result would be captured in a variable. Okay, now we need to print that. First I'm getting an object here, so key in location object. First let me find what are all the keys I'm getting. Let's see a key and value, whatever it is returning. before I'll comment this console block. So still I'm depending on okay. Sign off working. Chances are there my internet would have gone bad. See? Just be throwing errors. I'm going to switch to my cell phone data. Now it should work. Refresh one more time. Nothing is returning. Put one more time. This is working. For testing, I put it here. Whether the return is working or not, I don't know. An empty object is throwing. Something terribly has gone wrong here. Okay, so it is going to some other block. It doesn't return because it's a callback function. So we have to move this no way here. So I'm going to get rid of this function. As I often stress, writing the professional program is not only the job, the way you debug is also matters. When you do not get a expected result, you should be in a position to debug and identify the issues. That's the reason these kind of debugging tools and all the stuffs are there. So you have to use them in order to get the expected results. So the response, we see if this time it works. I removed the custom function, whichever user-defined function which I wrote, and I put the Ajax blocks inside and wrote everything within the callback function. In fact, this particular function alone I would have kept as a separate function, but no problem. Some sort of location object, it's not there. Okay, here. Okay. So I have a key called result, a value being an object, there are long value, and another key being status, which is returning OK. So first thing, if that I'm going to need one key. I run one more time, see what are the object I'm receiving. Accordingly, I'll process it. I'm getting an object called result. It's an object. I don't need to iterate over, so I'm going to remove this, because only object, I don't need to read all the object. I'm particularly interested on one object having result and formatted address, this alone. So what I'm going to do first, it's called results. Response dot results. From the response, if you get an object key called results, it will give you an array. It's going to have 8 entries. So what I did, from the response, I'm capturing a key called results. This could be written in this way also. This way also you can access it. Otherwise, dot also will work. So getting an object, a key called results, will give you an array. That array I'm going to iterate over. I, the value being results array. See what are all the thing I'm getting here. Then we'll accordingly decide. Okay, so 7, length being 7, so index start from 0 to 7. Each has an object. So what kind of object it contains, I'm just going to open, see one particular object. It has various other inner components. It has one more array inside, but I'm not interested. I'm interested on one object called formatted address. So let me see that formatted address. Let me copy. I'm going to modify it. Now I get all the individual address being taken out. Something Wakiam, Trepak, Aravind Nagar, VGP, all possible locations. So this one I want to print in the list view. So you have to carefully read the JSON, understand which node the data is located. Accordingly, you have to process. Otherwise, you will end up messing up the architect of the particular JSON itself. I'm not going to expect at the very beginning stage, because Android we have the JSON processing as a one extensive topic, so you can still cover them up as we progress on this particular program. Anyway, for better understanding, we start here itself. Now I need to populate the data in the list view. So list view having an ID called address. list item elements. I'm not going to give any link as of now, so just going to print them. When fully appended, I need to refresh. So open this block after for loop is over. New item gets added. New item will get added to a list view, but list view would have lost the design. To make the list view with the design, I need to refresh the DOM alone, so a new style sheet will be set. We'll see how things goes. My location. Got it. I can close the console block. So these are all the possible location of the user. Go here, click my location, it'll try to find, and it gives me a Bangalore address because I don't know my cell phone, my iPhone has some sort of wrong location being tracked, but anyway, something it retrieves and displays it. We have a habit of making the list view as a inset data. Since it doesn't have a hyperlink, there won't be a kind of a crossbar or something, because hyperlink means clicking it takes to another page, but we don't display, we don't take the user to another page. That's the reason there is no arrow mark here. Okay, some sort of padding gives me a nice look and feel. So these are all the users' possible location, and of course, as I click on my location, it gives me the user's current location. So pretty small exercise, or maybe little add-on to the previous code. Uh, but remember, even I had a difficulty to get the location. So what I would recommend, you can split the example into two parts. The previous one I have written exclusive for finding the location alone. You can try this as a separate example. Make sure you get some sort of output here. If you do not get this particular block, or where you do not get the location, latitude and longitude, what you can do is you can hard code the value, or whatever value which is already there, you can use it and process that one and display it for testing purpose, because our immediate requirement is to learn how the Ajax part works. In fact, the location part is a little extra. If it doesn't work, never mind, you can put this particular block alone and remove the navigator on other part and simply give a hard-coded value, check whether you get it. But before, also check if you could get the location, I mean the navigator geolocation, whether it works or not. If it doesn't work, leave it and go ahead with the Ajax part and have this particular add-on added to your code. So there is one more link where user click on the location and it will try to identify the user current location and display. In later exercise, maybe if you have a time, clicking the user particular location and it will take the user to a map and pinpoint that particular location. But those are all other addition, we'll see if we get it time. Otherwise, we'll simply leave them as it is. So this is what today we have seen what is geolocation, as well as we saw what is Ajax. I'll push the source code. Make sure you do it as two separate exercises, and make sure the previous one also gets completed. And hopefully by Monday I'll handle other miscellaneous stuff what we have omitted. especially the slightly complex topic. Only one complex topic I have, which is called index DB. And other part, vector graphics, canvas, and all something is all small introductions. So it's all small piece of code. In fact, you are not going to use in your project anyway. You won't use it. Typically, the web service you will be using a lot as an enterprise application developer, enterprise mobility developers. You will be having dependency over this kind of web service quite a lot. Trying to access the remote data, display that in your application. But anyway, those concepts we can still continue in our examples in Android as well. So we have a very long way to go. So hopefully we could complete the HTML part as in the schedule.